This beautiful girl is crying and calling her father for help, because she just saw her best friend Amanda kidnapped. Her father tells her to hide under the bed. When the bad guys come to catch her, she will throw the phone under the bed. Therefore, she will have 5 to 10 seconds to say out loud the characteristics of the bad guys. About the hair color, height or any scars. He also tells her to believe him, he will save her. Dad, he has beard, 6 feet tall, moon and star tattoos are on the right hand. This man is Brian, he is a retired CIA agent. This morning, his daughter and her friend Amanda travel to Paris together. When they get off the plane, a handsome guy comes to talk. He says he will take them a picture. The 3 people are happily chatting. But the girls forgot that their parents had told them not to talk to strangers, especially when they are in unfamiliar cities. You know what, taxis in Paris are expensive, do we share a car? The girls agree, they don't notice that the danger is very close. Amanda is attracted by this man, she gives him her address as soon as they arrive. She hopes Peter will meet her again. However, the one who comes is not Peter, it is a kidnapping gang. This gang always arrests young women to make illegal deals. Kim sees Amanda rudely kidnapped in front of her eyes. Kim cries and calls her father for help. Brian figures it out, he calms down promptly. He connects his phone to a voice recorder and an audio amplifier. First, he asks whether she met any strangers at the airport. Kim tells him a stranger named Peter was in the car with them. Afterwards, he instructs her to save herself. Finally, he threatens that kidnapper. I don't know who you are, I don't know what you want. If you are doing this for money, I'll tell you that I don't have money. But I have many particular skills I've trained in my long career. This will be your nightmare. If you let my daughter go now, I will ignore it. But if you don't, I will be watching you forever. I will find you, and I will kill you. Good luck, the kidnapper answers. This time, the kidnapping gang has touched a man they shouldn't touch. Brian quickly comes to his partner to find out the gang's information. His partner tells him that, based on this gang's way to sell people, he has only 96 hours to save her. If he couldn't, she will be sold to another country. There is not much time for Brian. If a normal man's daughter is kidnapped, his first reaction is calling the police. But Brian does not do that, because he is a former agent. He has his own way. On the plane to Paris, Brian listens to the recording over and over. He tries to remember the voice of the kidnapper, because it is his only clue. When arriving in Paris, Brian successfully gets in the house where his daughter was kidnapped. He climbs on the windows and the walls to enter their room. He discovers his daughter's broken phone. He takes out the memory card, goes to a machine, and looks at the photos in it. Finally, he sees Peter, the guy talked to Kim at the airport. He has his target and goes to the airport rapidly. He coincidentally sees Peter talking to his new target here. That's his chance. Brian pushed him to the car. He breaks Peter's ribs by his fists and starts asking him. In this moment, Peter's accomplices come to help. However, they are not Brian's opponents. With their help, Peter finds a chance to escape. Brian hastily gets on the car and chases him. When having no other choices, Peter jumps from the bridge. But unfortunately, a man who did many bad things like him does not have any luck. The only clue that Brian has is now gone. He has to find another way. From Jean-Claude's place, he learns that this gang often shows up in the red light district. There are over 100 people. Jean-Claude also reminds that Brian should not mess it up. Otherwise, the police won't let him go. Brian responds with an ambition to save his daughter. I'll tear down the Eiffel Tower if I have to. I'll tear down the Eiffel Tower if I have to. That night, Brian goes to the red light district. He deliberately disturbs a call girl to make the boss show up. He quickly appears and wants to teach Brian a lesson. As planned, Brian puts an eavesdropping machine to his body. Due to his conversation with others, he could find their position. Brian comes there in the night. He sees a group of workers queuing to unload the containers. He joins them and pretends to be a worker. He discovers many unconscious girls here. There are many injecting signs on their hands. It is very tragic. The human traffickers are so cruel. Brian searches every room to find his daughter, but he does not find Kim. When he thinks that Kim is not here, he suddenly finds her clothes. Holding the girl down, he figures that she is not Kim. He wants to know where she got these clothes. But she is not sober nevertheless. There is not much time, he can only save her and ask her later. In this moment, the traffickers hear the sound. They are holding the weapons to kill Brian. Not none of them is his opponent. This former CIA agent has too much experience in fighting. Finally, he could escape the place of the bad guys. After getting out, the girl slowly gets up. She tells Brian that Kim gave her the clothes. And she reveals another place of the human traffickers. Now, he has a perfect plan to destroy the kidnapping gang. The best way to deal with the bad guys is to use their own way. Brian's daughter is kidnapped by the human traffickers. He has to go to their place himself now. He has no partners, no weapons. So how can he defeat those human traffickers? Step 1. Deception. Brian takes a business card from Jean-Claude, the Vice Director of Safety Deputy. Then he pretends to make a deal with the kidnappers. He lies that the person whom they are working with was arrested. This place will be taken over by him. Step 2. Threatening. He says that their actions are under police's observation. Just one phone call can make them go to jail. The human traffickers are so afraid that they give him their money. When the time comes, Brian makes his biggest decision. It is also the final step. He takes out a piece of paper. There is an Albanian sentence on it. Albanian is the traffickers' mother tongue. Brian asks them to translate this sentence. Good luck. This voice, this tone, they are identical to the one who kidnapped his daughter. Do you remember me? I called you 2 days ago. I told you I would find you. Brian knocked down all the traffickers in the house within a short time. He goes upstairs to find Kim, but he could not find her. He sees Amadan, who is tragically dead on the bed. Brian takes the leader Marco into the room for investigation. He stabs 2 iron sticks straight into his thighs. Then he connects them with electricity to force him say his daughter's location. Actually, Kim was brought into an auction. Before leaving, he turns on the power to finish his life. Brian sneaks to the auction hall. He sees his daughter brought to the stage by someone else. Then, the people sitting in the hall will start auctioning. He is holding a gun to force the rich Patrice to buy his daughter. He just follows Brian's lead. Unexpectedly, Brian is knocked down when he is getting out of there. Waking up, he finds himself tied up on an iron pipe. Patrice orders his men to kill Brian, and then he leaves. When Brian is almost killed, he uses his strength to pull down the iron pipe. Although his hands are tied, he is still able to take them down. After knocking all the men out, Brian rapidly chases the auction host. He uses the gun to break his limbs. If he does not tell Brian his daughter's location, the next bullet will be in his head. He honestly tells Brian the truth that Kim is on a yacht near the harbor. Brian does not let him go. He keeps pulling the trigger to send him to hell. After that, Brian is driving a car. He drives to a bridge and looks for a chance to get on the yacht. He uses his special agent experience to fight against the bad guys. After a while, the subordinates are all defeated. Brian eventually finds his daughter in a rich man's arms. Before the man finishes his sentence, how much money do you want? I can give you. Brian shoots him in the head. I am here for you. I told you I would save you. He punished the evil organization and saved his daughter's life. At the end, I have an advice for you. Don't arbitrarily talk to strangers when you go out. You will never know whether he is a good or a bad person.